Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 9th, 2020 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Present.
Mr. Gittarelli?
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Present.
And Mr. Thomasone.
Present.
4 present, 1 absent.
Would you all please stand for the pledge? And Joe, would you lead us in the pledge?
Sure.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of
United
America,
States of America, and to the
Republic
republic
which it
and
stands,
stands
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
Indivisible.
indivisible,
liberty,
liberty, and justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we have no public hearings this evening, or public comment privilege of the floor is next. So if there's anyone who would like to be heard on the public comment privilege of the floor this evening. Anyone who'd like to be heard on the public comment privilege of the floor this evening?
So,
Okay, let's go into the resolutions.
which we have, how many guests?
Um,
So if they're muted and audio's off, that's under their control.
yes. Yes.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so resolution 24420.
You ready? You want me to start, Steve?
Yes, please, please.
Okay.
Please.
Authorize the town board of the town of Rotterdam to accept a letter of credit from Pioneer Bank for Becker's Crossing Phase 5 in the amount of $57,200 for the remaining work on Duff Banbury Court.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
A second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli?
Yes,
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasone.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, resolution 24420 passes. Resolution 24520.
Call for bids to be electronically opened on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2020 at 10:30 a.m. on an official report to be subsequently posted to the Empire State Purchasing Group on BidNet, http://www.bidnetdirect.com/Town of Rotterdam by the close of business the same day for criminal procedure automatic discovery bid.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Hold on a minute. Is this date accurate on here? Let me just double check.
I believe that the consensus ultimately, as of like 5 minutes ago, was to table this, so, but you have a motion that's currently on the floor to move it, so.
I can rescind the motion.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to rescind my motion. I wasn't sure if everybody consented to removing it. So I rescind my motion for 24520, and I'd like to make a motion to table 24520 until the following meeting.
I'll second in the tabling it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Mr. Signor to table resolution 24520. And just check the date and time on that too for the next meeting, please. Okay, so Ms. Marco, we have a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Mr. Signor to table. Would you please
Sure.
call the roll?
Mr. Christo to table,
Yes.
Mr. Gittarelli to table,
yes,
and Mrs. Miller Herrera absent, Mr. Signor to table,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomasone to table.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so 24520 is tabled until our next meeting. Resolution 24620.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the proposed local law referenced in resolution number 24520. So does that get tabled too?
Now
Is that number wrong?
that should say 24720.
Hold on one second.
Because we had to renumber these because of adding a couple of resolutions in here, or changing them, I should say. So just bear.
Is it 24420? Does that have to do with Becker's Crossing or the public hearing?
No, it has to do
I'll
with
let
the,
Kate. Go ahead, Kate.
I'm trying to read while you're all talking.
That's why.
Declare lead agency. Alternate review reference number. That should read to 47. So I can make that modification now with your permission, or in the alternative, you can make a motion to modify the existing resolution because no one moved the agenda.
Yeah, let's make a motion to entertain a motion to edit.
Supervisor, I make a
4620.
motion to modify resolution 24620 for the last line to read, relative to the proposed law referenced in resolution number 247.20.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Christou to.
Actually, Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is just an error in the short form. There is no reference to the resolution in the long form. So it's a stylistic question. Basically.
Okay. Sorry, we'll make the correction here.
All right, so we don't need a motion. We're just going to make
No.
the correction.
Let's go through with the
Why
motion.
don't you finish your motion, says
Let's just
Jerry.
do it. So a motion by Mr. Christou to edit 24620 so that it will read resolution number 24720 rather than 24520. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second. Let Joe have it.
Joe? Mr. Guidarelli?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll for editing 24620, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes. 1 absent.
Okay, so Ms. Marco, I apologize for that. Would you please reread resolution 24620?
Sure.
Correct.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the proposed local law referenced in resolution number 247.20.
May I have a motion, please?
Move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Guidarelli. Okay. Anyone on the question? All right, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
4 yes.
Okay, resolution 24620 passes. Resolution 24720, please.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. The public hearing is open to the public and persons may attend telephonically. Members of the public may listen to and or speak at the public hearing by dialing 1-929-205-6099, then entering the conference ID number of 867-0373-0307, followed by the pound symbol. The public hearing will be held electronically via a video conference for the town board and a conference call for all members of the public for the following purpose: to allow for a change of zone request located at 387 East Campbell Road, known as tax map number 59.18-2-8 and 59.18-2-43. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from an R1 family residential to a B2 general business on a plus or minus 2.3 acre portion of the plus or minus 5.74 acre parcel for the expansion of the parking area for the existing Charter Communications located at 1021 High Bridge Road.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Who said that?
I did, Joe.
Okay, motion by Mr. Guidarelli. Is there a second,
Wait.
please?
I had a question.
Yeah.
and I know we're just calling for public hearing on this, but hey, do you know, I looked through the paperwork attached with, that was on the draft agenda. So they're looking for a zone change to extend their parking lot. Do you know if they're gonna have access off of East Campbell, or is that gonna be closed off?
No, that'll be something that'll go through the planning commission. I would anticipate that at some point there'll be access somewhere else. I don't know if it would be East Campbell. In my mind, I think I said this at maybe it was last meeting or meeting before. I don't remember, but that property runs along 890, basically the back end of Sport Time. At some point, if there's a reason to develop back in that section, I could envision some roadways, or I'll say cul-de-sac kind of turnarounds in there. I don't know if there'll be a secondary access at this point.
Right, yeah, because I'm just thinking for right now, if this is another access point to their large parking lot, is it gonna, have all kinds of traffic going in and out of?
You're familiar with that. You're familiar with that neighborhood. I mean, that's a pretty closed neighborhood, and I don't want to see that change at all. I mean, I don't anticipate there being one there. Could it be an emergency access or something like that? That would be dependent upon when if they go through the planning commission process.
Yeah, but I'd hate to see that turned into an alternate entrance exit. So that was it. I was just wondering if you knew. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, and I'll make the motion.
Okay. Second by Mr. Christou. Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Guidarelli and a second by Mr. Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera absent. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomasone?
Yes.
4 yes.
Resolution 24720 passes. Now we have consent agenda for resolutions 248 through 25320. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion that we vote on a consent agenda for items 24820, 24920, 25020, 25120, 25220, and 25320.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
Second.
A second by Mr. Signor. So on these resolutions, I mean, you can see them for yourself, but still work being finished up at the senior center, and so we have just some change orders, some changes again to the change orders that have to be made. The one that I want to point out here as well is that a few years ago we engaged in a contract with Bryant Asset Protection to assist us with the review of the bids, if you will, for our liability insurance for the town. And I think we were very successful with that. At the time, we did save some money, frankly, but with what's occurred at the senior center and other losses that we've had with a couple of vehicles and things, our rates went up quite a bit this year. So hopefully we'll be able to see that change a bit. I think that this year has been, with everything that's going on, has been thankfully quiet from the perspective of this part, if you will, for us. And there are a couple of things that will close out, I hope, this year that will help us to, with insurance, it's all about risk. It's all about assessing risk, and so our costs are borne by that, and then just generally conditions that are going on, not just here in Rotterdam, but in the state of New York and in our country. So those rates will be what they are, and hopefully we'll get a much better price for the next few years. Also, we engage in this process with them for 3 years because every year that we get our renewals, they look everything over, make sure that we have everything that we need. And as you know, we have town staff here that keep track of everything for us. In particular, Don Wigan does a great job with that for us, keeping track of all of our vehicles and just our assets that we have. So, you know, with that, so I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to be going back out to bid again, and you'll probably, as board members, you'll probably get calls on this, and from different companies out there. I mean, the bottom line is you just have them call, and this is why I do it this way, to be frank. You have them call Mr. Bryant, and he'll be able to help them to get the documents that they need and submit the documentation that they need for us to get a good, clean insurance bidding process. Okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Christou, a second by Mr. Signor. Does anyone have a question on any of the other resolutions or on what I just spoke about?
Mr. Supervisor, the 250-120, so that is for,
That's for the our Schenectady County Solar Project with GE and the county. They have made modifications. Part of it has to do with just this, I'll say the changes that just happen with what is going on out there from the perspective of, you know, how many, and I'm going to get the nomenclature wrong, but basically how many panels they're putting up and everything else. So it's not as simple as just that we're making changes to the contract. There's a lot of other moving parts here, and let's go ahead.
this is which field is this? Or field?
This is the landfill.
It's
Yeah.
landfill.
Have you been out there?
Yeah, actually, well, I pulled in the entranceway and then you actually can see some of the work from the other side, but yeah. I've been on the property, but I was a couple weeks ago.
Well, let me know if you want to go out there with a pair of boots. I'll join you, and you can walk around a little bit. I'm serious, you know.
No, I know you are.
It's,
I'll go. You know me.
You know, let me know if you want to go.
All right.
Because there's a lot more that needs to be done out there, I think, you know, just for us to keep that property in check, if you will. So anyone else on any other resolutions? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll for consent agenda resolutions 248 through 25320? What happened, she?
She disappeared.
Yeah, she'll be back. We'll just give her a moment. It's probably it happens. I'm just going to quickly check on her. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Looks like Stan's join us.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
You're just in time to vote on the consent agenda.
Oh.
But we're missing Diane. I don't know if Diane thought the meeting was over, but she kind of disappeared.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Sit right there. Ms. Marco is here with me in my office. So can you hear her okay? Say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfectly.
Okay, perfect.
Mine went completely off and can't get back on.
Mr. Supervisor, please note that Councilwoman Miller Herrera has joined us.
Oh, great. Hey, Sam.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Okay, so right now we're on the consent agenda for resolutions 248 through 25320. Do you have anything that you would like to ask about in those resolutions?
No.
7:29. Okay.
I
All
think
right.
I had Evan Christo and Steve.
Yeah, Steve
Signar.
Signar, yes,
Okay.
that's right. Okay, Ms. Markle, why don't you call the roll?
Okay, they're probably not in the order because they don't
Sorry,
have.
don't worry about
it. Mr. Guidarelli,
Yes.
Mr. Christo,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Steve, Mr. Signor,
Yes.
Mr. Tomazone.
Yes,
Okay, 5 yes, thank
Okay.
you.
okay. All right, so does anyone have anything under committee reports or miscellaneous at this time?
Mr. Supervisor,
Sure.
I guess under miscellaneous.
Mhm.
I think we've all received some emails on the Helderberg construction going on over there and
Mhm.
some of the challenges getting vehicles in and out. So do you know if we've spoken to the developer over there to see if he's making any accommodations for these
I
larger
don't-
vehicles to get in there and offload their equipment without tying up the street?
So I don't know that. So I don't want you to I saw those emails. I don't know the situation outside of what it is that the resident has intimated in those emails, whether they were actually working in that area, digging for a water line or a sewer line or something. I just don't know. So I want to not pass judgment there. I think that the issue though of ensuring that there is someone on the roadway flagging or at least alerting oncoming traffic. I don't know that there's a blind spot there, but at the same time, we know that from time to time people will go drive a little more assertively. I'll say that word on Helderberg Avenue and some of our other state and or county roads. So I did see that earlier, and in the morning I'm going to bring that up with DPW and see what we can do about that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. Anyone else? Just to, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our next meeting, and then not long after that, we'll be presenting our preliminary budget. There are some conversations going on between us, if you will, with me leading them, if you will, and the union. And hopefully we'll be able to come to some agreements for next year's how things are going to look. I made a commitment not to have anyone get laid off, and I think we can keep to that commitment without an issue if these things work out, if you will, the way I think they're going to work out. I would ask that if you are approached by any employees or if they have any questions, just direct them right to me so that everybody gets the same. And I'm not saying that you would intimate anything differently. Don't misunderstand me. As board members, I trust your judgment along these lines, but I want to have you understand that I've spoken with several employees, and I think that there's some misinformation out there, or some whatever that, I'd say it like that, whatever that is. So I want them to be clear that we're committed to ensuring that we have staff, that we have people that are qualified and ready to work here for the town, and understanding that there's going to be several retirements this year, and hopefully folks can enjoy themselves in their retirement, and we'll be able to move forward with a budget that makes sense for not just for us to make sure that we get everything we have to get accomplished for the public, but more importantly from a tax rate perspective, that we're staying in line and doing everything we can to stay within that tax cap, which is very low. We got to preserve cash, right now, and there's just a lot going on for those of you who have been around the government for a while, and what I mean by that is involved here or elsewhere. And, for those on the board who, running your own business and trying to make sure that you can do everything, and all of our business people in our community, making sure that they're abiding by the laws, rules, and regulations, but most importantly, that they're able to, sustain themselves and make a profit and continue to operate. the town's not in a we're not in a profit making business, but our profit making one way or another is supposed to be there to make the town a better place to live and improve the quality of life of everybody here. So, having said that, over the next few weeks, we'll get a budget put together. It will be a preliminary budget. I want you to understand that. And what I mean by that is not to get, in case we were, the timing's not there to meet everything that we need to do to, potentially have some additional cost savings. I'll say that with the preliminary budget because I want to be accurate with the preliminary budget to what I know without making it appear that, well, I think this is going to happen. Okay. So, having said that, if you see that the use of fund balance is there and it doesn't meet your test, what I mean by that, it won't meet my test no matter what it is, but it doesn't meet your test, please be patient. And I think that over the following month, particularly in October, we'll get a lot of these things, if you will, worked out. And then we'll move forward with a budget that will stay within the tax cap. And I hope use less fund balance because we got to preserve our cash. It's very important right now. And having said that, 2021 is going to be a tight year. And hopefully from there, we'll be in better shape. And then 2022 will be different. I'll say it like that. We'll be able to, hire some additional people where we need them. This year is going to be, for 2021, it's going to be tough. And at the same time, I want to make sure that we're accommodating our department heads and accommodating the needs of our people in our town. So now we're going to spend more on technology. We're going to spend more on doing some things a little differently than we have in the past. But at the same time, there's going to be cost containment in other areas. So, and you'll see that, and we'll talk through all that and work together on it. So I don't want anyone to get too excited when they see the preliminary budget and see a lot more money maybe for technology than we have in the past, but there's a reason for that. We make the one-time spend and move forward. There's other things there that will hopefully work out maybe through some kind of a, forgive me for saying this, but a payment plan, because a lot of these, particularly with technology, there's usually offers for leasing and other opportunities where we can save some money and at least not put all the burden in one budget. We can put the burden on successive budgets for that. So that's all I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to say that because we don't, unfortunately, the five of us have not been able to get together like we want to. What I mean by that is, we're all running in so many different directions. And, our kids are home, our grandkids are home, or people are taking care of, assisting with their elders and maybe their neighbors and others that work with them. So it's a challenging time for everybody. And I appreciate your patience with everything that we're doing. And again, I'm looking forward to 2021 and hopefully I don't have to wear this. But I just want you to be aware of it. And when we get ready for the preliminary budget, you'll get a draft of that ahead of time. So if you have questions, you can just feel free to call me. And if you want to meet one-on-one, we can do that. Okay?
Mr. Supervisor.
Sure.
In regard to the budget, so we sat through some demos on that web-based budget software. Is there any consideration for us utilizing that this year so that we could actually work on the budget on the cloud?
So I, your question involves a few things for me to answer, and some of it's personnel related. So I'm going to say this, that I'm considering it, but I think that right now, and we hired Ms. Greenwood to come in and help us with our staffing, if you will, and job duties, and she's taking a very novel approach to looking at things from a systems perspective and where things, if you will, similar duties overlap. And so, having said that, Munis, I think, is our main priority. What you're talking about, what you and I, were on the call about, Mr. Guidarelli, like I said to you there too, it's exciting software. but I want to make sure that we get it's like anything, I'll make sure we get the engine done before we worry about the, don't miss, the Bluetooth and, the leather seats versus the cloth. You know what I'm saying? I just want to, I think it's wonderful. I really love the software and what it can do. So that I'm sold on that. But I think I've got to make sure that I've got the money to do all these other things that we need to do. And if I can find the capital to do that, and the communication is there with Munis or whatever else we end up employing here as far as from a technological perspective to help further the interests of the town and our community and our taxpayers, then you're going to see it. What Joe's referring to, or Mr. Guidarelli is referring to, is it's software that really, it ties everything in. It's real time, if you will. It gives a nice presentation to anyone who wants to look at it and see where our money is being spent, whether it's on salaries, benefits. With our budget, it's I'm not saying it's convoluted. It's the way it's set up because that's how it is right now. The state also, just so you know, the state comptroller's office has had recent upgrades that they're making to different things, if you will, having to do with monitoring our costs. And that's not just us, I think municipalities across the state. And so there's some things that are being built out. So I also don't want to duplicate and pay for something that we might get for nothing anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the software typically takes our budget as is and just builds it into a cloud.
It does, and it shows the expenses.
It's a live document that just
It is, right.
basically,
Right.
our
Right.
budget.
So, no, I'm with you. I don't want to spend, money
Yeah.
on two different systems. And
No, I know what you're saying. I do want to ask the other board members. I did email it out to everyone. I don't know if anyone had the opportunity to look at it. There's some videos on the functionality, and there was a price quote there as well. But no, that was it. I wasn't sure if anyone else got a chance to look at it.
Will Munis be able to do such a thing as we use Munis
No.
to its full potential?
No, it actually, it not really integrates with Munis, but it works with Munis. And the other municipalities that are using it, they use Munis. And part of what they tout about the software is that it works with Munis. So,
It communicates with it.
Yeah, basically, like I said, takes our budget, it turns it live on a web page, and we can all log in, make changes. It tracks changes, shows everything. Ultimately, the supervisor would have control of what can and cannot get edited if you wanted to, but we could all put our edits there and you see them separately. Like I said, I emailed everyone. I don't know if you want to take a look at it.
I saw your email, Joe. Did you see it live, though? You said you saw a demo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually sat in two of them.
Okay.
I looked at one before I figured I'd bring it to Steve. I'd look at it once and see if it was worth bringing it to him. But Niskayuna actually just signed on with them for this year for their budget process. So it's labeled in the subject budget, something or other. You should be able to find it easy enough. But I'm pretty sure I sent a few emails on it.
Yeah, I would just note, I don't know what emails you're referring to, Joe, but I would just note that for your purposes, that all modifications to your budget have to be approved by resolution, because you don't have a mayoral form of government. So you don't have the ability to do certain things that it appears that you're referencing.
No, it's more of if I wanted to take a draft and make edits that I would want to suggest this, and this. It's my version of, rather than handwriting on a worksheet, hey, can we cut here,
You can do that on SharePoint as it currently exists, though.
Right. But what he's referring to, though, it's if you have to see it, okay? But what he's referring to is that, in the budget process right now, we would all be able to, and I agree with you, we can use SharePoint for that. We can put something out there. Don can probably build that or put it out there for us. And what will happen is, for example, when the department requests come in, when you get your preliminary budget or your budget work papers after the preliminary is filed, if you will, you'll see that there'll be columns there for where I made a change, or where department head made a change, or someone made a change. What the software Mr. Guidarelli is referring to basically allows us to all go in there and put comments in and do some other things. The one danger in that I see is that, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, in some ways it's a good thing. But what my concern is that if two of us agree with something and we're putting comments into this live document and somebody else doesn't, or three of us agree to something, does that make it look like we've already made a decision on a prospective budget? And I think the argument could be made, yes, that it does. But at the same time, I value what I saw, because I think that it would make it easier in this environment with what we have going on right now for us.
I haven't looked into it, but the way I envision it, it would be like, okay, we have this one budget. Okay, we're looking at, whatever, the controller's office.
Yeah.
And we're looking at a line item for office supplies of 10,000. Well, Joey can look at that and he can note his suggestion of 7,500. Steve can note his suggestion of 6,000. Samantha says, no, 5,000 is enough based on everything. And then as we are going through the budget process, we can see where everybody else's, feeling is on that particular line item. And then when we do talk about it, it could be a more efficient process. Joe, is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, it kind of puts everything out there, and you, like Steve said earlier, you can make your comments. But you know what? I sent you. You got to look at the links in the demos. You just really got to look at it.
Check it out. Let's not belabor the discussion anymore on this.
Yeah. If you could send it to me, so if I can ascertain if it's a violation of the open meetings law, that would be.
Yeah, exactly. So
I noticed how Evan used Sam as an example for cutting the most amount of money from a particular.
It is factually accurate.
That's 100% accurate.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I noticed. How apropos, Evan.
So, we town hall is open, and we ask that you, if you, again, just remind everyone, if you need to come to town hall, call us. Make an appointment. Look online to our website for more details. Just call the 355-7575 number and make an appointment. If for some reason you're not seeing what you need particularly on our website, or something that you're looking for that you can't find there, call us. A lot of information is on the website, and again, we know that not everyone's on the web. We get that, but please just call here, and if it's something where you need some help to get on the web, particularly when it comes to the census. So, if you haven't already had someone come, if you haven't replied to the census, and you haven't done it because you're not sure what to do, or you don't have the technology at home to access the web, again, call us up and someone here will help you, whether it's in our town clerk's office or downstairs in DPW. Someone will help you out to get that taken care of for you. Right now, we're at about 75%, according to County Legislator Holly Volano, who contacted me earlier today. The town's at about 75% response rate from what they anticipate is our population, if you will. Please do everything that you can to get there. And you just go to the census website. So, it's the 2020census.gov, if I remember the web address correctly. Please get counted. So, does anyone have anything else?
Am I able to put something like, fill out the census, some sort of a little blurb on my fan page on Facebook, or is that crossing any kind of a line?
No.
Just public. Like a PSA.
You do whatever you want there. It's public. Yeah. Okay. We did update. I believe Ms. Osta today updated our Facebook page to, basically put the word out there for that. And there's just so much. There's just so much there for people to see. And if you've never had to, which I have in the past, have to go onto the census website to look at information, there's some really cool stats there if that's something that you like to read or know. So check it out. They've got a lot of great information there.
Evan, I shared something on my Facebook page that was shared by the county public library with information about how to access the census forms. If you want, I can send it on to you.
Yeah, would you please?
Yep, absolutely.
Steve must have got up to check the grill.
I'm here.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else this evening?
Mr. Supervisor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion for adjournment by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
Say it.
Second by Mr. Signor. Okay. For those who are in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed for adjournment? Anyone? Okay, thank you everyone for being here this evening. Our meeting is finished.
All
Have a
right.
great evening, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Joe, I'll be in touch with you on that thing, all right?
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.